You ready?
Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
You agree?
Give me a second. Just put the time. I was gonna set up the time. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Okay. You ready? Sure.
2,
Okay.
1.
Take it away, team.
Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. My team and I are so excited to show you our startup Reforge. And well, by the way, we might be saying heavy industries and say it as HI. So yeah, hope you enjoy.
The industrial sector is one of the biggest producers of carbon emissions, accounting for roughly 40% of all global carbon emissions.
And it's on the brink of a workforce collapse. We're on track to be short 2.1 million workers in these industries responsible for 40% of global emissions, causing a $1 trillion loss by 2030. That's more than the GDP of over 170 countries. In just 5 years, our world could be hurled off the cliff of climate change.
Research indicates that 52% of young people in the US strongly aspire to work in the green economy, but are unaware of the availability of those jobs. They're not connecting, just like this heart.
Introducing Reforge, attracting and nurturing talent in students, guiding them to lead decarbonization in heavy industries. Reforge helps students discover how their dream job can drive real-world climate solutions in heavy industry.
You might be asking, how would we achieve this? First, we identify the talent gaps of heavy industries that keep them from going net zero and introduce green job opportunities accordingly. This eventually creates a strong talent pipeline for a steady flow of jobs between students and heavy industry, even if some students don't proceed.
Heavy industries are complex and are facing critical talent gap, delaying their green transition. For instance, does anyone here know what heavy industry needs in talent? Exactly, and skilled professionals don't know either. However, we do. These are the areas in which we identified heavy industries lack talent the most, and Reforge tackles them by fostering these skills in young adults, ensuring a strong talent pipeline. Now, I'd like to invite you to meet Olivia. She's a senior at Fox Chapel High School in Pittsburgh, and she dreams of becoming an industrial engineer. She loves the environment, but doesn't know how to support it. At her school's career fair, she was drawn to the Reforge booth by its naturesque visuals, as you can see. The rep there told her that anyone could help the environment through their dream career. Olivia was completely intrigued and wanted to know how. Well, he recommended her the summer program, where she discovered how she can solve climate challenges and learn new skills. The program also looked really good on her university application. She finally feels empowered by Reforge to make a difference. That evening, she visits the Reforge website and books the engineering summer program. In just 2 weeks, Olivia gets mentorship from HI experts and on-site experience where she discovers what a job in HI could really look like. She solves real challenges to advance sustainability in the industry whilst developing her innovative skills. As you can tell, the summer program went wonderfully, and it eliminated her stigma against HI, introducing it as a solution to reduce our planet's carbon emissions. So, now Olivia's in university and she's studying to be an industrial engineer at Carnegie Mellon. She decides that the 2-day workshop from Reforge would be the best way to explore what her career would look like in the HI industry. And if it's really the right choice for her, she invites along her friend Liam, who's a data analytics student, who signs up for the matching workshop, and of course, as you may guess, it goes great for both of them. The workshop program serves to filter out top talent from the rest, bringing the best to internships at heavy industries. Olivia interns on site, optimizing energy systems to cut carbon emissions, whilst Liam analyzes data to find emission reduction opportunities. The internship simulates a real job, and those who perform well, like Olivia and Liam, are often offered full-time roles. This is how Reforge puts skills professionals in heavy industries, reaching their talent gap and possibilitating net zero.
This year, over 3.4 million high school seniors, and 600,000 of them were in heavy industry areas. And along those lines, extending our market, we have 1 million U.S. undergrads in relevant majors like engineering and ecology, with 225,000 of them in those heavy industry areas. Our business model. Our business model is a non-profit model where basically we get funding from big heavy industry companies who want the pipeline and who will get those interns and those job applicants, and through government grants on building a new workforce government grants. Some of our major costs are building the program, running it, and developing what the students will learn there.
These are our key hurdles. First, getting long-term commitment from heavy industry companies, for instance, getting stable sponsor stipends. Second, shifting how heavy industries is perceived, from outdated and polluting to innovative, essential, and interesting. And finally, we need to keep pace as talent needs evolve, ensuring Reforge stays future-proof and relevant.
These are our key metrics. They can be split into two categories, short-term and long-term. First, on the short-term side, there are the number of signups for our programs, who they attend workshops and or summer programs. Second is the number of heavy industry projects completed within our summer and after-school programs. And the third is the perception change with a pre-post survey, basically evaluating their perception on heavy industry before and after their lesson. Now to the long term, the number of students driven to heavy industry jobs. They go to the jobs. And the next is the percent of students placed in internships or apprenticeships. Our pilot, we're going to run a pilot. It begins with our workshops in relevant areas. We'll start online and then launch pop-up versions of the same workshop to increase engagement. Alongside this, we launch our pilot summer program. In each case, we pair the programs with heavy industry partners to provide mentorship, guest speakers, site tours, and real sustainability challenges. It's a scalable start to our national solution. Validation. To validate our concept, we're interviewing our industry partners, running small pilot workshops with students, and launching a website survey to capture broader interest and feedback. These steps help us refine both the product and its appeal to sponsors and schools.
Okay, moving on to the rollout plan. We of course are going to start off by developing our curriculum and then going to our pilot programs, seeing how the feedback we get from them and how we could then improve the summer programs, workshops, and internships which come next. Importantly, that we haven't mentioned prior is how we're going to implement an after-school program, which is essentially going to be the version of the summer program, except instead of just having one challenge, they're going to have several throughout the entire school year. Now, importantly, we also want to be able to co-design a curriculum for science classes, for instance, with the National Science Teachers Association, so that we could do that about 3 times per year.
Our vision, providing heavy industries with the talent they need to achieve net zero emissions faster. And as you can see, our heart is repaired here.
Thank you so much.
Questions, comments?
First off, I want to say you all are thinking along the right lines here. In Knoxville, Tennessee, there's an NGO called Seed Knox. They're doing something similar where they're training Knoxville residents, kids, in energy and sustainability jobs by completing housing projects. One of the biggest gaps and issues for them is wraparound supports. I remember it was something I discussed with everyone. How do you ensure someone can actually maintain and stay into their program, especially if it's 18 months long? So when you think about the different student needs, what else are you ensuring that they kind of get supported with?
I guess that it wasn't really clear, but actually on the...
Oh, if you already
No, it was my error, because when I say 18 months, I mean 18 months from the starting point, so from now, we'd start developing our after-school program, as it would be, from what we encountered, it would be more difficult than doing the summer program, because that's during the summer. However, most children aren't really up to having an after-school program, so after they actually get familiarized with the concept, they'd be more willing to go there, and then to maintain students year-round. The challenges are fun. They're interactive. As I did for the other one when I was talking with the calendar up here, they're solving how to reduce waste, energy waste in steel making. They're having hands-on experience. It isn't they're just sitting in a room with a teacher talking to them and a whiteboard reading off the slides.
Yes. No, I think it's very interesting. I think my question is more so, the supportive services so they stay, not because of interest, but because of necessity. What makes this better than a part-time job where they need money? Or how
Well,
do you know they have access to it?
I actually can take on this question if you don't mind.
Yes.
Well, we didn't end up showing it in the pitch. Our original idea, and one that we still carried on, but was that we just didn't end up having in the presentation due to some last-minute changes, was that students who succeed in the internships and then get into jobs could get partial debt relief in student loans, from student loans in university years.
I have a quick question. Great presentation. This seems definitely feasible because it's somewhat more of a traditional model. On that note, are there comps? Are there other organizations doing this? And my second question is, do you have any estimate of how much it would cost, or just to approximately to implement?
Okay, so about organizations that are doing this, we haven't found any that was specifically targeted to heavy industries in a global way. Mainly they would only be like to certain sectors and like not very largely. Also, they aren't partnering, from what we've seen, they aren't like partnering with heavy industries the same way that we are, because we're going to be we want to like sort of infiltrate the curriculum, so actually make the learning part of something that someone would have at school. And also by doing the after school programs, you also haven't seen that, nor the curriculum part, of course. And then this alongside with the summer programs, workshops and internships we offer, we haven't really found something similar that englobes so much of heavy industries.
And to your point on the cost, I have a rough estimate of how much it would cost to run the summer program, not the whole program, but to run the summer program, it would be around 300,000. But that's including developing the curriculum in the first place, and getting everything set up, and just getting marketing across.
Startup costs.
Just startup costs. Startup costs are the majority of the cost. Really, to run the program continuously, it's only a few $1,000s per assignment.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.